I've got my Corolla up on jack stands right now because the new header came in, and I've got to cut this all out. Switched out to a different style of blade. Let's see, hopefully this one works a little better. And that's out. All right, it's time to, let's get this old manifold the rest of the way out of here. And start getting that new header in place. I had this off once before to make sure there was no damage to the head behind it. That's why there's only a couple of nuts holding it on right now. I wanted to make sure I only needed a manifold or a header before I got too deep. And that's one manifold out. I also already had the manifold gasket out. So now I'm going to get a rag and wipe some of that oil off. Now, yeah, I know the car probably needs regasketed, and the engine probably needs to come out for a rebuild at this point because it's pretty high mileage. But I really want to just see if I can get this car to run right before I do anything too extensive. That should hopefully be clean enough for the header to go on. Okay, now we're gonna just take this and set her down in there. Just like that. And then I come over here to this guy. Try to get him started. We've got the nuts laying around for the rest of these. I'm gonna get this all snugged up and mounted up, and we'll go from there. I've got the header on, and it's time to go back underneath the car and work on her down there. I've got the header on in place. Got it hooked up, got the O2 sensor in. And up next, we're gonna see what kind of disgusting ass oil comes out of this thing. That drain plug was scary loose. Not too terrible. Of course, it's going to run nice and slow the whole way out. But I'm not seeing any chunks, which is good. Everything should be at the bottom with how long the car's been sitting in the shop waiting. I'm pretty sure there's a chunk in there. There's something to poke up in there. There's no water in it, which is good. No coolant. Doesn't smell like any gas is getting in it. So I'm gonna let that drain for a little while. One thing they really did not think through, and neither did I, is I should have taken this off before I put the header on, was the location of the oil filter. But I'm no smarter, because, you know, dumb redneck. But you can still just ever so barely. That's worrisome. There was nothing in the filter. Now, for an oil filter, I'm going with the wicks. There's the part number. One of the better filters you can get for how cheap it is. Here's the old filter. There was nothing came out of it, so that's a little worrisome. One thing you're going to want to do, when you take your old filter off, make sure the seal doesn't stay on the motor. That can cause some problems if it does. You don't want to double stack gaskets on these. Take just a little bit of the oil and coat the seal on it. Nice and thoroughly. Wipe that off your finger so you can actually grab something, and you don't want to step on that. Make sure you grab the new filter, not your old one. Then the glorious placement behind the header. Far too many times I've gone to do an oil change, and they've been, like, torqued on. You don't need to torque them on. That gasket will do its job. Hand tight is all you need out of these. They just need to be hand tight. They don't need thread locker, they don't need sealant. I don't know how many times I've pulled oil filters that were held on by absolute BS that they didn't need. And my oil of choice, Royal Purple 10W30. I switch everything to synthetic. Let's see how much of a mess I can make. I switch everything to synthetic when I do its first oil change. It's better oil. I like Royal Purple. It's a little on the spendy side. but it does the job. And does it quite well, especially in these older motors. I don't like to use filters too much when I add oil to this. There's a little baffle right underneath where the cap sits. Doesn't let you get a filter in there nice and snug if for any reason you need both hands. And I'm going to make a huge mess. There's $40 down the drain. Of course I'm going to make a huge mess. What else would I do? Throw about 4 or so quarts in there. And that's just about perfect. There was just a little bit of old oil left on the dipstick, but as you can see, she's up at the full mark. I always like to save the extra so that I can top especially this one off, because this one leaks and burns just a little bit. Which, like I said, it could probably use a rebuild, but she's still good. She still does the trick. Alright, so I've had my little charger on it for a few minutes. The thing that just won't give up. And we are going to see if I can't get her to start just to see what she sounds like. Fresh oil. New exhaust. I put fresh plugs in her right before I parked her. Okay, those are in all the way. And now we're going to see if she will start. And that's, for the time being, the exhaust on the Corolla. I don't feel like I got very much done today, but I got the header on the car, got the oil changed, got hood pins installed, which I forgot to record. Up next, I gotta finish body work, tint the windows, get tires for the new wheels and put them on, and figure out this annoying tick. Hopefully it's just a lifter problem, but I doubt it. Runs and sounds way better with this new header than it did with the busted manifold. Worth the money. Forgot to film an intro before I got started for the video. Spent the day working on my 94 Corolla. Got the new header on. Got a couple more things I gotta do to the exhaust before it's done. But I got it running better than it was, and still gotta figure out a lifter. A tick. Got the oil changed and put some hood pins in because, well, the hood latch don't line up. But dumb rednecks do dumb redneck stuff. So I gotta finish the body work, which hopefully I can remember to film for that. At least most of it. Thanks for watching.